Alright, this resource is going to show you how to use the Makerbot software so you can 3D print your files from, that you make within Fusion 360. So when you log in, you're going to see a window that looks like this with a bunch of different tools. If I move myself up here. Down at the bottom, you're going to see the different printers that are available to you. And of course, I move myself in the wrong area. Let's go over there. So we have our Makerbot replicator, and we have our two replicator pluses. We have another replicator 5th gen that's not online right now. It's got a belt that needs to be fixed, but if whatever printers we have available are going to show up right here. So if it says idle, those are the ones that are not being used currently. So if you come in here and you want to print, you're going to select the printer that you want to use. Okay, so my suggestion, the replicator pluses are the newer printers, so I would use those first. If they're both being used, the 5th gen is going to be just fine. You can use that one as well. All of these are going to print your projects out just fine. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just select one of these. You should see that it's not being printing anything right here. And you can see what the bed looks like, so it should be cleared off. Once you select your printer, okay, I'm going to go ahead and minimize that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit select, sorry. I'm going to go ahead and minimize that now. So now it shows that it is idle. You are choosing the Replicator Plus, and then it shows you the bed that it has. Okay. So what you want to start off by doing is go ahead and insert a file. And so this should be an STL file. Let's just say, here's my popsicle example. I can go ahead and hit open, and that's going to put my file in there. Now, the key here is right off the bat, you're going to see that this is all red, and that's because this is not fitting on the bed itself. So we got to make sure that we are, rearranging these in a way that's going to actually fit on the bed. Now, if you did all your sizing correct, it should be the size that it needs to be, so you do not want to change that. If it's something that can be changed size-wise, so if I click on my object here, there is a scale button here. So for mine, I could technically scale this down, and you're going to do that by changing that percentage here. So it is a uniform scaling. That's what you want. You want to make sure that you're scaling all of it down together. But if it is something that is perhaps a little bit too thick, you can uncheck this and then just scale the Z, the Y, or the X, right? And so in this case, this would be my Y. I could scale my Y down that way. It's not too, if it's too thick, I can just thin it out a little bit. Okay, so that's your scaling option. The other thing you can do is change the direction here. So you want to make sure that it's printing the best way. So I can change the direction of my X and my Y and my Z. So notice if mine is brought in this way, that is not a good way to print this, right? Probably the best way to print this is by laying this back part on the bed itself. So one of the buttons you can use is place face. You're going to say I want that on the bed. And then let's see here. And so that's the bottom. And so it's just going to lay it down right there on the bed. If I like that, I can hit done. I can also move this around. I can change the, let's see here, the Y does this, and then the Z, we're looking at this. And so if I change the Z this way, notice once it's on the bed, the red goes away, and now I know that that's fitting in there. So it's basically going to be telling you, hey, this fits or it doesn't fit. Okay? And so once you have that orientation done, and it fits, you should be pretty good. Now, a couple of other things you're going to want to look at is your print settings in general, supports and bridging. Notice how this piece right here is just floating above the bed. The way 3D printers print is one layer at a time. So if there's nothing under here, it's going to then get to this level and try to place all of this right here. And it has nothing to rest on. So when that filament gets put down, it's just going to drop down, and you're going to have a big old mess right there. And so one of the things that I recommend doing under the support type to make sure that you're doing breakaway support, you can check this box as well. And then let's see here, what else we probably want. So here's our support angle. Anything greater than that angle, it's going to put supports under. So that's something to keep in mind as well. I would leave that alone. In general, that's probably a good number. Leaving your print motive balanced if it's not already there. And then your base layer, we're going to have a raft as well. And so that's going to help with the adhesion to the plate. That way, hopefully, your print will come out better. The extruder type is going to default to what's actually currently in the printer, so that Tough Smart Extruder Plus is the one that it's already detecting. And so these are some of the settings that you're going to want in here. If it's already set up, which it probably will be, you can just leave it like that, but just double check that support, making sure that it is checked, and then orienting it in a way that makes the most sense for printing. Okay. Once you get all of this done, and I think all of this is fine. I can just drag, I don't need to do that. Once you think that it's alright, you can check your print preview and the estimate. Make sure that everything looks okay. We're going to let that load for a second. And then if you think that this all looks okay, I would like you to come over, check it in with me, and then I will give you the go-ahead to go ahead and print it. We're going to do it that way because I want to make sure that everything does look right and that we're not going to have any issues once it starts printing. If we mess the print up, it can cause a lot of problems with the machine that we're going to have to fix later. So here's our preview. You could see all of the support material is in this orange color. So you could see that, yeah, I'm going to have that adhesion there with the supports on the bottom, which is going to be nice. I'm going to also have the support underneath over here. And then if you drag this layer up, you can see that the full thing is right there. And then it's going to give you a time estimate and where it thinks it's going to be done if you were to hit print in that moment. You can play the animation, whatever. So once you get to this part, check it in with me. I'll say, yeah, you look good. We'll hit print. And then you can go ahead and hit the print button. Don't hit the print button until I tell you to. Otherwise, we're going to have competing issues with students trying to use it, and we want to avoid those kind of issues. So this is the Makerbot software here that you're going to be using in order to 3D print.